you show mercy towards somebody else, there's somebody that's got greater than what you got that will show mercy unto you. Does that make sense? You're not going to have to be chasing down your blessing, which means as you work the principle is going to work, and God is going to cause people to be a blessing to you. He's not obligated to preserve or bless anything that has the spirit of mammon on it. And so, we can't hold out on God and then think that it's going to be well with us, because you got some people that got wicked hearts that will what? Hold out what they owe you. And then we get a chance to see what that feels like. Does that make sense? Okay, so let me go on. So verse 11 says, for from the rising of the sun, even unto the going down of the same, my name shall be great among the Gentiles. And in every place incense shall be offered unto my name. And a what? Pure offering. What kind of offering? A pure offering. Not lame, not maimed, not halt, not sick, not diseased, not blind, not wilted. He said a pure offering, right? Amen. For my name shall be great among the heathen, saith the Lord. But look what he tells Israel. But you have profaned it, in that you say the table of the Lord is polluted, and the fruit thereof, even his meat, is contemptible. So they offering God, watch this now, they offering God what's left, or they're offering God, see, because it speaks to the willingness of the heart. Okay, so they're offering God that which is not suitable, but then they come back and complain that when they come in to get from God, what you gonna get back if you didn't bring nothing in? So if we offered him something polluted, how can we expect something pure to come back at us? So if we offer the house of God what's polluted, sick, left over, then how can we expect anything to be there when we come back and need it? It's not getting ready to happen. Okay, so watch this. It says, you also, behold, you said also, now he ain't talking to none of us in here, right? He talking to Israel this morning, right? He says, you said also, behold, what a weariness is it. And you have snuffed at it, saith the Lord of hosts. And you brought that which was torn, lame, sick. Thus you brought an offering. Should I accept this of your hand, saith the Lord? I didn't write it. Should I accept this of your hand, saith the Lord? Look, but cursed be the deceiver. This thing gets deep. That's why I was telling you, this one strikes my heart more than even Malachi 3:10, because it's so plain what he's saying. He says, cursed be the deceiver. So who are we deceiving? Because we can't deceive God. And so he's saying there's a curse upon the house and the life of the one that thinks that they're deceiving God. And we can deceive man for, a while, but we certainly can't deceive God. Come on now. And so, sometimes you can look at, and this is on this CD. This is not just for us here, but sometimes you can look at people's lives and it's like, based on what they're giving, you mean to tell me this whole year you lived off of $2,000? Based on what they're giving, you mean this whole year you ran your household off of $4,000? This whole year you ran your household off of $10,000? Because if we are actually doing the 10th, then you mean to tell me that all that came in your hands was $5,000? I'm not asking you, I'm saying. And so the records are speaking. And it's not true. Because who's living off of that? Nobody. Okay, so look at what it says. He said, but cursed be the deceiver which hath in his flock, look, a male, and vowed it, and sacrificed unto the Lord a corrupt thing. Does your Bible say that? For I am a great king, saith the Lord of hosts, and my name is dreadful among the heathen. So he said, In other words, you fearing man and you're fearing men's institutions more than you're fearing me. And so you're stressing yourself out, can't sleep at night, in a place of anxiety because you're trying to meet these man-made deadlines. So you're taking from the King of Kings. He said, I'm a great king, but you're fearing them more than you're fearing me. You're fearing their deadlines and their repercussion for not meeting their deadline more than you're fearing me. You're not fearing the fact that I'm going to collect too. This is where they got it from. There's nothing that they're doing that they didn't find that principle right in here. It came right out of here. So the penalties, the fees, the interest, all of these things, you're more concerned, he's saying, with, and in our time, you're more concerned with your credit score than you are me coming to collect. So what he's saying is we got to change our disposition and we have to change our perspective and put God first, and God will make all that behave. God will bring order to all of that. But he's not obligated to do it if it's got the spirit of mammon on him. He's not obligated to preserve or bless anything that has the spirit of mammon on it. Are y'all here? Yes. Okay, so let's go on. That's pretty clear. Let me show you this. Proverbs 18:6. And we can turn that heat off now. How many of you are receiving? Amen. See, because this thing is going to come into play more and more and more. You're going to see it. And especially as the economic system is changing in our world today. So Proverbs 18, and look at verse 16. And you've probably heard this before, but I want to tell you the real meaning of it. It says, a man's gift, what? Makes room for him and brings him before great men. Now, normally when this is taught, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it, but normally when this is taught, it's taught relative to a person's spiritual giftings. That, you know, if you have the gift to sing, or you have the gift to prophesy, you got the gift to preach, or whatever gift you have, that it will bring you before great men. But if you do the research on this scripture, it's not really talking about that at all. It's talking about gift as in your giving will make room for you and bring you before great men. It's talking about the principle of reaping and sowing. Oh, yeah. So it says your gift will what? Make room for you. So being of a generous spirit, being of a liberal spirit says will cause expansion to come for you. It'll make room for you. Are y'all here? And also bring you before great men. Have you ever noticed how, well, you may not have ever been in this situation, but I know of situations where maybe a person's heart was hard or hardened or whatever, and somebody came and gave them a gift and how it melted their heart. Hello, somebody. And you may have found out that that person wasn't that hardcore, cruel person that you thought. They just might have been dealing with some issue of their heart. But the gift made room. The kindness made room. The liberality made room. And it caused that person's heart to open. Is this helping? Okay, so it says your gift will make room for you. And bring you before what? Great men. So it's not just about being able to work a spiritual gift. And let's face it, everybody's not getting ready to stand before the president. You know what I'm saying? But it's saying your gift will make room for you. It'll cause accommodation to open for you. Oh yeah, you can literally give your way out of some situations. You can literally give your way. I'm serious about that. Working that principle of reaping and sowing. Sowing and reaping. Sowing and reaping will actually make room. It will cause God to broaden things for you. In other words, if he can get it what? Through you, he'll get it what? To you. But he's not going to keep getting it to you, and he can't never get it through you. That's a farce to even think that. He said, but, and many times when things are the most difficult, when things are the leanest, is the times that I'll bust a move and I'll give something ridiculous in a place that I have no control over it. You know why? Because I know it's going to what? It's going to open something up for me. It's going to make room. You know why? Because with the merciful, he shows himself merciful. And so when you show mercy towards somebody else, there's somebody that's got greater than what you got that will show mercy unto you. Does that make sense? But if we shut up our bowels of compassion and God can't move on us, why would he keep doing that? All right. So your gift will make room for you. So next time you hear that, know that he's not just talking about a spiritual gift. Okay, let's go on. Proverbs, flip right over to the next chapter, Proverbs 19 and 17. He says, he that hath what? Pity upon the poor lends unto the Lord. And that which he hath given will he repay him again. So whenever we are a conduit, say conduit. Whenever we are a conduit for the blessings of the Lord and the goodness of the Lord to flow through us, God said, when you lend to somebody that's less advantaged than yourself, he said, you are actually lending unto me. He said, and I see it, and I'll be the one to pay you back. So this releases us from even being concerned about when we give. See, because you're more blessed when you give somebody something that they can't give back to you. Because it puts you in position. God said, I'll come and I'll pay, because you have given unto me when you lend unto somebody who's less advantaged than yourself. You're lending unto me. And I'm going to pay you back. I'm going to pay you back. That's a powerful thing. Because you can't outgive God. We can't outgive God. We can't beat God's giving, as they used to say. You hear what I'm saying? So he said, whenever you extend your hand to someone to help someone, he said, I see and I will repay. And so you get to a place in God where there's certain things you just know are assured, because you are tapped into the flow of God. You have tapped into a place with God that you know it's coming through. I can't tell you if it's going to be Tuesday or Wednesday, but I can tell you it's coming. I can tell you it's coming because it's a principle that's in the earth. I can tell you it's coming because I'm in covenant with a God that does not lie. I can tell you it's coming because I'm in covenant with a God that owns everything. I can tell you it's coming for sure. It's just a matter of time and how. It's a matter of time and how. But you can look for it. Let's move on. Are you receiving? Luke 6 and 38. Are you there? Look at what it says. It says, give and it shall be what? Given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, shall who? Who's going to give into your bosom? It doesn't say God, does it? It says, shall men give unto your bosom, right? For with the measure that you meet, withal it shall be measured to you again. So again, a principle. Now watch this. A lot of people, you know, some of them are tithing, some of them ain't tithing at all. And then some people who tithe, that's all they do. They never give. And you have to understand that this principle will work for people who are not even saved, because it's a principle. And so they don't even have to really be living right before God for this principle to work. It said, but if they're working the principle of reaping, sowing and reaping, it'll work no matter what. So he says, you give first. It starts with you. You give, and then it's going to be given to you. And he said, but when it comes back, good measure, pressed down, shaken together. Have you ever been trying to put something in a container and the container wasn't big enough? And so you're trying to, finagle that container so you can get more in? He said, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over. It's just a matter of time. That if you be consistent, see, this is the key. It's consistency. It's doing it, but it's doing it with consistency. And so right now, many of us who have financed the kingdom, we're not even living off, you're not living off of what you're giving right now. You're living off of what you've given in times past. And so what you're giving right now is just being stored up in the future for you. And stored up in the future for your children, in the future for your family. Does that make sense? You're not living off of what you're giving right now. But if we're not sowing, we're also sowing an empty space in our harvest. Or we're leaving an empty space in our harvest. Let a farmer, ask any farmer. They plant every year, I don't care what. You know why? Because they know what they planted last year is not going to bring them a harvest for this year. So they plant consistently every year. Because consistently every year they're expecting a what? Consistency. And if they don't, so imagine the one who says, well, we ain't going to plant this year. Well, what do they look like going out in October, September, October, November, expecting to harvest in a field they didn't what? It's not going to be there. That's just common sense. Now, you might get a few sprigs up of seeds that were left from the year before, but you're not going to have a full harvest for that year. Is this helping anybody? Okay. It's like a person that refused to work, but then you want to go file income tax? Dude, you ain't worked all year. You didn't pay anything in. How you expect to get anything what? Okay, y'all got it. So you see that for yourself. So he said, men are going to give into your what? Bosom. People will come, which means you're not going to have to be chasing down your blessing. Which means as you work the principle is going to work, and God is going to cause people to be a blessing to you. Listen, it doesn't always come back just somebody walking up to you just giving you a check. Your gift may make room and they open up an opportunity for you. Your gift may make room and somebody shares some information with you. Your gift, you see what I'm saying? It can come in all different forms how it's going to come back. Somebody might make you privy to some resource that you wouldn't have otherwise known. God may shift and lead you over somewhere where the blessing is temporarily and shift you right on back out. It can come in all different ways, all different forms. You can be somewhere in prayer and God will just, like a light bulb, come on and there's your answer. And then you go walk them steps out and bam, there it is. Are y'all here this morning?
Waiting Room, written by best-selling author Dr. Sandra V. Nelson, gives practical tools on how to remain focused when it seems like your vision and purpose of God grows dim. Are you feeling trapped in an emotional whirlpool? Are you struggling with frustration and discontentment? If so, God's Waiting Room is a perfect read for you. Visit www.sandravministries.org to get your copy today. Join our vision partners and help Dr. Sandra V. Nelson preach the gospel around the globe. You may send your contributions to P.O. Box 847, Pomona, California, 91769. To order today's message, please visit our website at www.sandravministries.org.